51-year-old David Gleim was sentenced on Monday in Swift Current Provincial Court. This case stems back over 2 years ago when RCMP found over 1,800 images on Gleim's computer following a Crime Stoppers tip. Crown Prosecutor Glenn Herman says this wasn't a typical case.
Mr. Gleim's category of offense here was somewhat different in the sense that he was not classified as somebody essentially who did have any pedophilic tendencies or anything of that nature, any sexual deviancy, but he was somebody who had been sexually abused himself as a child on more than one occasion by more than one offender, and he chose this bizarre role-playing way as some way to somehow be therapeutic. It was suggested to him that somehow this would assist or help him in some way, but of course that turned out to be wrong.
A psychological report which claims that Gleim doesn't exhibit behaviors typical of a pedophile was presented by the defense during the sentencing. It was revealed in court that Gleim was using some of the images to create a fake identity for chat sites such as Google Hello.
These would be various role-playing fantasies, supposedly, but the one certainly that I referred to in court was one where he was pretending to be, you're right, an underage teenage girl and passing himself off as a victim, and of course would then have pictures of himself, allegedly, saying, here I am.
Gleim was handed down a 90-day intermittent sentence. This means that he'll work Mondays through Friday and then serve his time on the weekend. He'll have to report by 8 p.m. tonight to start his first weekend in custody.
I don't want people to take the 90-day sentence as somehow the norm for these types of offenses, because it's not. It's at the lower end of the spectrum. But sentencing has to take into account the circumstances of the offense and the type of offender you're dealing with. Obviously, the Crown was of the view, as was the court, that this was a totally different type of scenario than our regular person who's accessing child pornography. So that's why he received the benefit of the 90-day intermittent sentence.
Gleim's custody time will stretch over a number of months, seeing how he will only spend about 12 days a month in jail. Once he has completed his sentence, he will be on probation for the next 3 years. Some of the conditions include court-ordered sex offender counseling, he will not be allowed internet access, and he will not be able to take on any roles in which he would act as a person of authority to children under the age of 16. In addition, he will also have to submit to a search of any personal property by RCMP during his probation period. For Southwest TV News, I'm Kara Rapke.